Hello, everybody. I think y'all can see us. Oh, my lordy. We got some glitchery going on right now, boys and girls.
We do.
We do.
I don't see Manila. I don't see you.
I think what's going on, I think that we are all. Okay, so there I am. I think that what it is this. So I think that we're all logged in as TMI instead of being invited in as our
Oh,
our
mhm,
normal Rumble channels. So there's
mhm.
Manila. Let me see if I can fix her.
I wonder if we have multiple feeds.
Uh, I don't know.
I'm going to go look.
I don't
Don't.
see I don't see multiple feeds.
All right, good. I don't see any feed. Oh, I see. All
Yeah,
right.
no, we're on Rumble and YouTube.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now I just got to figure out how to get Manila on.
Oh yeah, her.
Uh,
Hilarious.
yeah, so what we need to do after this show is that we need to do a little dry run so we can,
Clearly,
yeah, so we're sure how to use this.
where do you think Manila is?
I don't know.
She's like, how do I get on screen?
There she is.
Okay.
Oh, you're muted.
Manila, you are muted, just the way we like all our women.
Facts.
All right, guys. So we're trying out just using Rumble Studio. I think this is working. Hold on. Let's.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah, it's working.
It's all good.
Yeah, looks great too.
Okay. Can you guys all see
You
it?
might want to change
You're
the
all
layout
three of
so
us.
that we're side by side, but this is still cool.
I don't know how to do that layout. That's too advanced.
Also,
for
we
me.
don't have where's the stuff like the logos and stuff.
I
Anyway,
don't
whatever.
see any of that. That's too advanced for me.
Is that stuff not in the? I mean, I created the TMI room. It has all that shit. Did you create a new one?
I don't know.
Oh my
I
god!
don't know.
No,
I was just setting it up.
I think
so-
what
And you didn't even take 10 years to get your college degree like I did, so I don't understand.
No, I did. I think I took like 8.5, but that
Oh,
I
so
was
you're
in and out.
That's a year and a half faster than me.
I was in and out. Okay, so I think you guys can hear us and see
Yeah,
us.
you should make Robbie and I both administrators so we can see what the fuck is going on.
Well, the problem is that we are. Well, Ted, I think you're on your normal Rumble.
You're on the
account, right?
Ted Rall account.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
make if you
which
make
is what
Ted,
I should be, right?
yeah, ideally because I'm on TMI. So what I will do is I will jump out, and then I will come in as Putin bot, and then you just make me an administrator once.
Yeah.
This
But
gets
in the
fixed.
meantime, please make me an administrator. Click on me. You'll see three little
Okay.
dots. Click me as
Promote to moderator.
not
Okay,
moderator.
Robbie, so you're gonna jump-
administrator.
It only says moderator.
All right, then whatever. Okay, that works.
Yeah, just
Okay,
give
Robbie's
them all of the toys, and I will go away. Then I will come back.
Robbie's gonna jump out and come back as Putin bot, and then I can make that account a moderator. See, we're trying to figure out the glitches live because you guys can tell us in feedback, like you guys give us live feedback. So, does it look very clear?
Oh, it looks
Clear to you
fantastic.
guys?
Oh, it's like night and day. Yeah, no
Is
question.
it really?
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're on VHS anymore.
Okay.
Oh, it's
Okay, Robbie,
beautiful.
go ahead.
It's
Go
gorgeous.
ahead and jump out, and I'll see if I can.
You could probably read the titles on the books behind me. It's like amazing.
Interesting. Okay, I think Robbie jumped out. Look,
Robbie did
think-
jump out,
Okay. Okay.
but like definitely
Bear with us, folks.
Yeah, definitely when Robbie comes. But see, you didn't make me an administrator, did you?
I did though. I did. Look,
Okay. All right. Let me
I
just
got Jaws in there.
Yeah, but I should be able to see the elements and stuff, and I can't. But all right.
It says make you a moderator. That's all. That's the
Oh,
only
here. This is all right.
option it gives me. So anyway,
Weird.
I'll just say good morning, good Tuesday to everybody out there. It's July 28th. I'm Manila Chan. That be Ted Rall. Producer Robbie is rejoining us after we figure out, because normally we go through this roundabout way with a different program to run the show.
Here comes Robbie. Let him in.
Okay, there's Robbie. promote to moderator. Okay, I think Robbie's in. So
You got to click. You got to click on him.
live.
You got to click on him and let him in.
Oh,
There he
okay.
is.
Huzzah! Success.
Okay, we
Okay.
should. And what about the other TMI show? Which we should kick out, right?
No,
No, it's fine.
because it still has to run the that account has to run the program.
Yeah, it's because basically what we'll do is that whenever we go to a new show, we'll just update this room every time.
This show doesn't, but this room doesn't have the. What happened to the bells and whistles, Robbie?
I don't know. Rumble Studio is still
Well, because
funky, I think.
no,
Robbie knows.
it's because you're on the wrong room. So if you go into Rumble, like I did a supercut last night as TMI supercuts. What you would have done is that you'd have clicked on that room that's already made, clicked on edit.
Okay. Well, the listeners don't want to hear
that's
about
what
this.
she did. She created a new room.
She made a new room. That's what there's no elements.
You're not supposed to do that. You're
Okay. None of you told me this yesterday.
Well, that's like, okay, we didn't know you were female, so
Yeah. None of you
Okay.
told me this yesterday when
All right.
I'm the.
So
senior
every day,
expert.
what you
This
do,
is
Manila, is very simple. You always just edit the same room, and which in this case is the Great TMI Supercut. You always just
That's the
edit.
room.
That's the
That's the
room.
room.
And it's always the same. And you edit it every day. And then the next day you just see yesterday's room. And you edit that. And then you schedule from there. And
So I know how to do that part, but you guys
That's
didn't
easy.
tell me that you have to reuse the room or
okay,
whatever.
well now you
So anyway,
know.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
now you
trying.
know. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying this out.
Yeah, it's like a hotel room.
I have the jaws in there.
Yeah,
and
with all the
everything. Anyway,
with all the spooge stains all over the sheets. And,
so we do this right here live, 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. So please,
today
like the show.
somewhat less live than
Please.
it should be. Yeah. Mhm.
It's not as lively. That's different. Live is different
It's
than
lively.
lively.
It's just not as brain alive that it should
Well,
be.
okay, before I jump to all the stories, a couple of things that are worth mentioning. Zelensky and Bibi, both here where I am in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, you can keep them both as far as I'm concerned.
They're both here. And you know what? It is a cloudy, ugly, stormy looking day because they are both here and it's Lindsey Graham's first funeral service. He will have tomorrow on Wednesday his
Wait, is he going to be
his
brought back to life
private
and then
one.
killed again? What's the story?
Oh no, they're having the first funeral service here today with all the dignitaries and whoever else, whatever war hawks are going to be at the National Cathedral or whatever, and then they're going to have his family services tomorrow in South Carolina. But Bibi and Zelensky will both take their time to meet with President Trump later after today's services, and Ted, we always talk about real estate on this
do.
show, right?
We do.
Guess who just moved into her luxury brand new mansion yesterday?
Who?
Former Vice President Kamala Harris has reportedly moved into her new mansion in the exclusive Malibu seaside community of Point Dume. D-U-M-E, Doom.
She's in Malibu?
Malibu. I guess this is one of the ones that didn't burn down. Or maybe
Is she going to be surfing?
maybe she got a killer deal because all the other properties around are burnt down. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
What didn't burn down is going to be washed away in the next tsunami.
Yes, or the cliff is going to fall down or whatever.
Yeah.
So census records show that over 80% of Point Dume residents are white, with black Doomers making up less than 3% of the population.
Well,
on a national level,
Manila,
roughly 14% are black.
Kamala's move does not change the racial demographics of Malibu.
Yeah, she's
Well,
Asian.
on top of
She's not
half
black
Asian.
at all.
She's
as black as I am.
that.
She's as black as Clovis. I mean,
she ran on being black. She never ever talked
'cause
about being
politicians
Asian.
never lie.
She also ran on being
She-
human.
Well, she never ever acknowledged being half Indian ever during
She
her
ran on being
100
joyful.
days of campaigning.
Remember?
Yeah, that's true.
She did bring the joy to death row by adding
Bringing
more
the
people
joy.
to it.
And shitting on black men for not supporting her.
Look, some people believe in the death penalty. She's such a fervent believer in the death penalty that she'll even send you if you're innocent.
Yeah. You
And,
got to keep the death industrial complex going.
Got it.
Yeah, Manila, you have
So-
a question from Daddy of Triplets. He wants to know, can you give your thoughts about Arizona State University offering a content creation degree?
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
A whole degree on that? You want to get yourself in debt to? No, I'm going to say that's a whole bunch of bullshit. I don't know if it qualifies, if it's under the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. If it is,
why can't we be in put us in duo mode? Here we go. Wait, we need.
Yeah, but then Robbie can't be there.
Why can't we be all three in side by side? Robbie and I are like mini me. And like you're like you get to be big girl there in your like school.
I don't know how to do it. Well, yeah, but I'm only one woman and there's two men, so there you go.
Well, in this room,
again, we're disadvantaged.
The issue is that with this room, we don't have the ability to go in and change the layouts.
I see. Okay, well, I'll learn that.
Well, wait, in a Robbie, I do Rumble. That's not true. I do Rumble Studio. For deprogram, and
I know.
We're all three side by side.
I know, but if you look here at the bottom where our boxes are, because typically, one thing like this studio is even completely weird. This is not the normal layout.
No,
and there at the bottom where you have
child, cheers to you.
Where you have the boxes, they're just they're not even there.
Okay, so anyway, those are the two stories. That I just want, or two. This is BB's 8th trip to DC. I was right, number 8.
Yeah,
that is actually a lucky number in the Asian culture, by the way.
I will fix this after the show.
Yeah,
but
you will. You and I both.
I will need y'all to both log in with your personal accounts in the TMI Supercut room, so that way I can fix this.
Yeah, immediately after this show. Right?
Okay, so
are you free to do that? Manila?
Yeah, immediately. Yeah.
Okay,
we'll figure this out after the show. But for now, at least I got the Jaws in here. Oh, Robbie, do we have to do an ad before we jump to stories?
Let me see if I can.
I don't know. How do I check this?
I don't think there's going to be an ad.
I'm trying to learn the Rumble room, guys.
So this room, this is not the room to learn because this room's all fucked up.
Yeah, this is not.
This is like Spock with a beard. It's an alternate universe.
Yeah,
you're not going to be back in here.
This room will die
campaigns.
Do not learn this room. Okay, this room is like an alternate universe where the Libertarian Party is the dominant party or something.
Yeah. This room will die like a Palestinian child. It will just die.
Right, it will die.
Oh my God,
it will die like America, like the hopes of a recently college graduated Gen Zer.
Okay, I'm doing this. All right. So Access Med, powered by Trinova Health, is a revolutionary telehealth service that offers fast, free online evaluations and free home delivery of customized compounded medications, offering custom weight loss support, ivermectin therapy, hair restoration, cosmetic rejuvenation, custom ED treatments, and more. You can complete your visit in less than 10 minutes, and there's no subscription or recurring fees ever. We've made getting started easier than ever. Simply follow the link, choose the product or treatment you're interested in, and then complete a quick online evaluation. Within days, your custom meds will arrive at your door. Mention Rumble in the coupon code and get 10% off your first treatment.
Oh. Let me show you what my what Thomas got me.
A knife?
Can you see who's on it?
No,
you got to go closer
General
because
Custer.
You're in tiny mode.
It's Robert E. Lee.
Oh.
Your favorite.
Well, they've renamed everything that was named after him here, so. There you go. All right.
But you just hit, but he is one of my heroes.
I know, and that's why Robbie's mad that everything's renamed here.
So
everything
a little treat.
Lee.
7th grade ID.
Oh, it's a baby Ted. It's a baby Ted. All right, I'm gonna Jaws it and get to the stories.
Are we doing stories today?
We are.
I didn't know we were doing stories today.
Okay. All right. So first story, official story, hence the thumbnail, guys. So some 9/11 families want New York's mayor kept away from Ground Zero for this year's ceremonies. So a group of relatives of people killed in the 9/11 attacks is campaigning to keep New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani away from this year's 25th anniversary ceremony.
He's the
at Ground
mayor.
Zero.
They can't stop him.
Hold on. A petition organized by Giovanni Galanti by a guy called Giovanni Galanti, whose wife, Grace, was killed at the Trade Center, reportedly has more than 14,000 verified signatures, including roughly 300 from victim relatives. It describes Mamdani as, quote, an unwelcomed guest, and argues that his political associations and past statements make his presence inappropriate for this solemn event. Critics have pointed to Mamdani's relationships with controversial political figures and his emphasis on anti-Muslim discrimination after 9/11. Among the concerns raised for the organizers were how the mayor, quote, blamed the United States for radicalizing Anwar al-Awlaki, an al-Qaeda propagandist linked to the 9/11 hijackers. They also noted that Mamdani appointed Ramzi Qassem, who previously represented Ahmed al-Darbi, convicted in an al-Qaeda tanker bombing plot, as New York
God forbid that someone should provide legal representation, which is something that every American has a right to.
And I guess this lawyer praised Brooklyn Imam Siraj Wahaj, who has been linked to radical Islam and was named an alleged co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. So, all right, so this lawyer is being shit on for being a lawyer.
Yep. as you know, I mean, there's a case to be made for that, sure, but
I get it. The National September 11 Memorial and Museum says the annual ceremony is intentionally kept free of politics. Elected officials traditionally attend, but they do not give political speeches. The focus remains on reading the victims' names. Mamdani has already participated in official 9/11 memorial events as mayor. During a May visit with the city agency leaders, he praised first responders and called for New Yorkers to return to the unity demonstrated after the attacks. That leaves organizers with an impossible assignment: preserve a non-political ceremony while deciding whether an elected mayor has become too political to attend it. 25 years later, Ground Zero, by the way, Mamdani was 6 years old when that happened. Ground Zero remains sacred ground. It also still New York, meaning even the guest list.
If Ground Zero was sacred ground, they wouldn't have excavated it. They would have left it as is. Yeah, instead of building a memorial hole there. A beautiful, glorious hole.
The glory hole? The glorious holes?
Yes, indeed.
So, I, at first blush, my knee-jerk reaction was, this is racist as shit. He is the first Muslim mayor of the city. And I know a lot of people have a hard time with that because they link, all Muslims to 9/11, which is unfair, obviously. But that's it. This dude was 6 years old when this happened. He could not have helped plan it, people. He was 6 years old.
He had nothing to do with it at all.
Racism, I don't think, plays in because Islam is not a race. And
it's Islamophobia plays in.
There's no such thing as Islamophobia either. That's bullshit.
What are you talking about? There's no such thing as Islamophobia.
What?
Tell it to the Muslims who've been killed by people who hate them just for being Muslim.
Pointing out the fact that Islam is a inherently violent religion that teaches conversion by the sword.
Yeah, Christianity's never done that at all. Christianity's always been nothing but peaceful.
Okay, so
there were Muslims who were killed at 9/11, and there are Muslim families that go to the 9/11 ceremony every year.
I understand that, but now here's the difference.
There are Muslim American soldiers who went and fought, the people who were not responsible for 9/11.
Well, no, I get that, but Ted, here's the big difference, though. Mm-hmm. Jesus taught peace. The Catholic Church is what taught war. That is a very distinct difference. Whereas if you read the writings of Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was a genocidal slaver. He was a warlord. He was a warmonger of the highest.
He would have fit in beautifully into the present administration.
If that's the point that I'm trying to make. So to say that Islam is a peaceful religion is laughable on its face when Emperor Alexius himself said Islam has always been propagated by the sword.
The point is that Mamdani is not. Why should the sitting mayor?
He's not the embodiment of Islam.
The sitting mayor of the city of New York be excluded from such an important New York event?
Okay, well, then let me answer the question, because if you, just like the two of you just now did, just tried to post me up on the teachings of Islam, saying that's Islamophobia by teaching the history
of Islamophobia. I mean, Islamophobia is obviously just what it sounds like. It's the fear not of Islam. It's the fear of Islamic people,
of Muslim people.
Okay, so did anything that I just say, was any of it factually untrue?
No, but it's not related to what we're talking about.
But it is, because...
What does Mamdani have to do with that, though? He's the mayor.
I understand that.
I mean, this is Islamophobic, no?
It depends on how much you're trying to say. I mean, how I would go out and I would handle this is say, listen, I am a practicing Muslim. I was elected by the people of the city. I am going to attend. If you don't like it, that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Okay. Let me pose this to you. What if he were a Jewish mayor, and he has the same background? He appointed the same people to his administration. What if he was a white Jewish kid from Brooklyn, and he did all the other same things? He appointed so-and-so, this particular lawyer, to chief counsel at New York, and he did all this other stuff. Do you think they would welcome him if he were, I don't know, Mamdeinstein?
Was it Jews that flew those planes into the World Trade Center, or was it Muslims? Remind me.
So
again, what's the issue here?
That's my point. Other than him being Muslim, why?
It's literally guilt by association by definition. It's literally like Muslims. Literally, it's like all the racist shit I've been seeing on social media by people like Laura Loomer after 9/11, and by Muslims. Then how could New Yorkers have elected Mamdani? It's like, okay, so what is the presumption of that statement and that question is that all Muslims are guilty by association for the 9/11 attacks. And that had better not be true, because as a white male, I don't want to be guilty by association for everything that dumbass white dudes do all over the world.
But you're already guilty with it. If you point out that the rest of the world does not have the right to immigrate to Europe, then you're immediately called a racist or a xenophobe. If you point out the fact that colonialism doubled the life expectancy of people in Africa, you're going to be called a racist and a white supremacist.
You're not addressing my point head on, which is to say that you are not responsible for people in your class. If some dumbass from Montana who used to be from Florida does something stupid, that doesn't mean everybody who used to be from Florida and now lives in Montana, including you, is to be blamed for that. And similarly, I mean, what does Mamdani have to do with 9/11? Nothing, except that he's a co-religionist of the perpetrators of the 9/11 attacks. And so fucking what?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Right, I have Mongolian ancestry. Should I be fucking blamed for Genghis Khan and all of his conquests?
And if so, you should get where's the credit? You should also control a mighty empire stretching from Samarkand all the way to Austria.
I guess it would just depend on your take, right? Because white people were consistently blamed for slavery, despite being involved in the slave trade for 300 years.
Yeah, and I call bullshit on that too.
Yeah, I think that's not fair. So why condemn Mamdani, who is the elected mayor of the city? Why not allow him to go? Why would these families take offense of him being there? He's the freaking mayor.
I understand. And no, listen, at the end of the day, though, if this is a private ceremony, if you don't have an invitation, he should honor the request of the families and not go.
It's not a private ceremony.
Is it sponsored by the city? If it is, then he should go.
I mean,
he's the mayor.
Yeah, I mean, he's the mayor.
I think the city obviously gives permits and does whatever the city does, and then I think the 9/11 Families Association or whatever. There's like an association, or foundation or whatever they have. They put together the thing every year and they fly some people in and whatever. And so it's like a co-mix of the city and their association. Oh, thanks to PW Walker for the donation. Walker says, because people need something to be outraged over, because outrage gives their lives meaning.
True.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is, I mean, Yeah,
it's also just racism, right? So there's that.
Yeah, it's good old fashioned racism. And again, let me just say, Mamdani was 6 years old at the time of 9/11. I highly doubt. I'm not sure.
Well, he could have been
highly doubt.
He could have been a member.
He was a part of it.
I think he might have been a member of Al Qaeda.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we clearly have a problem. We clearly don't have a problem with Al Qaeda. I mean, we installed an Al Qaeda head chopper to run Syria, so I mean, that's not even the issue. And I don't understand why y'all keep saying racism. For one thing, New York elected a foreigner from India who practices Islam.
South Africa, I think. Or no, Kenya. No.
Yeah, from
Uganda.
Uganda. So you can't say that this is a reaction to racism because they elected this buffoon.
But we're saying these people.
The people of New York demonstrated non-racism by electing him. But these mookie 9/11 asshole families, they're the specific ones here.
Well, they're probably pissed off about the idea that, I mean, just like, for example.
By the way, he's also speaking, he purports to speak for all 9/11 families. I'll give you this. If you can get like 95% of all 9/11 survivors to agree with him that like Mamdani shouldn't be there, then I'd be like, maybe Mamdani.
Survivor families?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get that. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it's like, these are like, there's a huge political, split between the 9/11 families. A bunch of them are right wingers and a bunch of them are not. And
Manchild, thank you for the donation. I'm with you. Next story. Ted and I are 2-1 against Robbie here.
Yes. It's really 1.5 to 1/2 because of the size of the screen.
Oh, it's more than that. I mean, I have definitely pissed off the
dominate
chat
the screen
with the unpopular opinion here. So, but that's why I'm here, I guess.
Yeah, look, the 9/11 families, like, that is shitty of them. Mamdani had nothing to do with it, and it's just like, bottom line. If he had pale skin and he was any other religion, they wouldn't have a difficult time allowing the mayor to attend and make some, like, nice comments and be done with it. That's it.
What? No Jaws?
All right, Ted. I did the Jaws, but there was no sound.
It was Jaws. It was silent Jaws. The deadliest of all Jaws.
It's Shark Week. It's Shark Week, by the way.
Dum, 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 dum. All right. Don't forget, we have to hang on after this and fix this room because it's driving me nuts. All right. Anyway, a Georgia dude is facing federal charges after allegedly giving border agents, I love this story, a password that erased his smartphone instead of unlocking it. Samuel Tunick was returning to the United States. I didn't realize he was an American. And this, I think that matters. Through the airport in Atlanta in January of last year, 2025, when CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, Dick Beans, pulled him aside and demanded access to his phone. Prosecutors said that Tunick then entered a special duress password that caused the device to delete its contents and restart. He has pled not guilty. The feature comes from Graphene OS, GRAPHENEOS, which should become a sponsor of the TMI Show because we love you. A privacy-focused operating system available for Google Pixel phones. Oh, that sucks. Nothing for Apple? If anyone knows if you can do this for iOS, let us know. Users can create an alternate PIN that wipes the device when entered, essentially a digital self-destruct button. So you can be like Captain Kirk and fuck you, Klingons, I'm blowing this up, minus the smoke and dramatic countdown. Federal prosecutors charged Tunick under a obscure law prohibiting the destruction of property intended for government seizure. That's amazing. By the way, it's not really government, whatever.
Right.
A conviction can carry up to 5 years in prison. Bring it, bitches. But Tunick's attorneys argue that the government's search was unconstitutional from the beginning. They say agents detained him without allowing him access to an attorney and used supposed concerns about illegal imagery as a pretext to investigate his alleged connections to activists who opposed Atlanta's controversial Cop City police training complex. So in other words, he was targeted because he was a lefty.
He's an activist.
The case appears to be the first U.S. prosecution involving a phone's duress swipe feature, and it could force courts to confront an uncomfortable question. Does protecting your private data become a federal crime the moment an officer wants it? At America's border, constitutional protections have always been thinner, within 100 miles of the border, right? Now, I think it's 100. But
200.
prosecutors, but that's, over half, that's where over half of Americans live, within 100 miles of an international border. But prosecutors are testing whether your right to digital privacy disappears entirely when your phone lands in government hands. This is a fascinating story. Obviously,
I love it.
TMI Show is totally on team Tunic and team Graphene OS.
Go Tunic. Can you guys please make an Apple version?
Is there an Apple version? We have to find out. They're easy to find out.
Also, I'm curious to know if this Inspector Gadget self-destruct mode.
Yeah, it's awesome.
If you do that, is your stuff backed up to the cloud so you can have it wiped, when, let's say, a cop is trying to open
I'm
the phone,
sure.
But then you can re-download all your shit.
It doesn't erase your cloud. Yeah. No, I mean, what would happen is that let's just say either they give you back your phone or you buy a new one. If it's Apple, it would just automatically repopulate your phone as soon as you reconnect it to the internet. Yeah. So, yeah.
So I think the lawyer is absolutely right.
By the way, if you don't have iOS, if you don't have Graphene, what you do when you cross a border like this is they can open your phone if it's powered up. So when you go through customs, power your phone down completely. They can't turn it on. They can't get it on without the password, right?
Right.
Like if it's on, they can get it without the password. They can hold it up to your face and turn it on.
Right.
But
I don't use that.
But your point is that but if they need the password when it's starting from powered down, and if you refuse to give it to them, which if you have any ovaries or balls at all, you don't do, then they're fucked and they can't get access. So I would say
I don't use the facial recognition thing because of.
Well, that's good.
I don't like biometric stuff.
But they will pressure you and they'll say "Oh, we'll keep you." Blah blah blah. I'd be like, keep me. You guys are
my lawyer.
You guys are awesome. I love hanging with you. I'm going to make myself comfortable right here.
Yeah, get my lawyer. Dude, this guy.
I could sleep anywhere.
Awesome. Good for him. Good for Tunic. I think his attorney is right that this is an illegal search and seizure from the jump.
Right, because first of all, there's no reason. There's no probable cause, right? I mean,
right.
And by the way, the fact is, I mean, the protections for a foreign national seeking to enter the United States, which is a privilege, are very low. But this is a U.S. citizen coming home, right? Now, they do have the right to try to search your devices, but you have the right not to let them. You absolutely have the right. This is just a refusal, is all it is. It's literally, if the same guy had done what I just advised and had the phone powered down and refused to turn over the password, they couldn't have touched him. So what this is about the specific technology. It pissed them off because he was totally like,
right. Right. He did the Bart Simpson.
Nelson.
Or no, sorry, Nelson.
Yeah.
The Nelson. And that pissed him off. And Ted,
because they're mooky little fuckers.
Anytime you one up law enforcement, they really hate that.
We are very angry. We will get you.
Really hate that. They really, really hate that. But I would like to see this. It's illegal search and seizure from the jump, and it's against his constitutional rights. I think this is gonna be fairly easy. I don't know what court this is gonna go to. It's a federal prosecutors, I guess, because he was with CB, customs, I guess, right, when you're coming through the airport. So federal. So this could end up in a federal court, or it will end up in a federal court.
Oh, it will.
Which one though is what matters. If it ends up here where I am in Northern Virginia,
I would imagine it's going to be, whatever the district is for Georgia, right?
I guess.
I mean, this happened in Atlanta.
Oh, did it? Well, it's a Georgia man. Oh, through Atlanta's airport. Okay, so it is. Yeah, it'll be. I was going to say if he's like coming through here or something, and he ends up in Northern Virginia, the court.
Oh, so yeah, it'll be the
Alexandria.
northern. There's a court in Atlanta. There's the Northern District of Georgia.
Oh, okay. So federal court. I don't know what they sound like there, but if it were here in Alexandria, Virginia, this court is notorious for siding with. It's pretty much a rubber stamp that you're guilty. Whatever the feds bring, it's done. If you come to Northern Virginia federal court, you're done. You're donezo, man.
So that's true, but no worries. That's not going to be the issue here.
Maybe. I hope not. All right.
It just won't. It won't. It can't.
I hope it. They
just don't do. They don't change jurisdictions like that.
Illegal from the jump. Go Team Tunic. Like Cop City. I haven't thought about that in a while. I wonder how that's coming along because they are building it.
And it means that he's on a fucking list, right?
Oh, yeah.
All of us lefties.
Oh, there's a list for everything, Ted. Like I always, less so now, but definitely, in the past 15 years, I was used to getting extra scrutiny going through the airport. I'd get the quadruple S's on my boarding pass, and I'm like, all right, here comes my anal cavity search. Like,
some people pay good money for that,
Like it's because I'm a journalist, and at one point, I was in and out of the Middle East a lot, so that probably seemed suspicious to them. And then I worked for RT for a decade. That was suspicious to them, obviously, and they go through just everything. So there's always a list. There's always a list. Like you literally, if you're any sort of antagonist to whoever the ruling party is, which as a journalist, you should be an antagonist to any and all power. So I was always harassed at the airports, but less so these days, thankfully. But I also aren't flying very much. But yeah, there's a list for everybody. There's a list for everything. So if you're a lefty, you're a righty, it just depends on who's in power, Ted.
Yep.
That's it. And by the way, the audience says they can hear the Jaws sound. We can't.
Oh.
Which is weird.
All right. Well, that's all that matters, really. I don't need to hear it. I know what it sounds like.
I hear the Jaws.
You can hear it?
Yeah, I hear it.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's good. Okay, back to my motherland of Los Angeles. The homeless population is rising again, and the housing pipeline is clogged. Yay! The numbers are going up. After 2 years of modest progress, homelessness is rising again in Los Angeles. The homelessness shall rise again. Ted.
Good. We need more homeless people. We gotta have them.
Well, it should. Nothing says advanced industrial democracy like people sleeping outside.
Yes. 2026 homeless count found approximately, this is, and when I say approximate, I mean, it's not even approximate. This is like the loosest number that they can get their hands around. 73,000 unhoused people across most of LA County. That's up 1.2% from last year. Within the city of LA itself, homelessness has increased by 3.4%. That's some 45,000 people. So just in the city proper, where I used to live, like I live downtown, that's like 60% of the Southern California's like homeless population. The most troubling number is on the streets. Unsheltered homelessness. I feel like that's...
Isn't it? No, that's opposed to sheltered homelessness, like people couch surfing at their friend's house.
Oh, okay. Unsheltered homelessness is the term. Jumped nearly 8% inside the city, meaning roughly 29,000 new people are now living in tents, vehicles, or other places not meant for habitation. Officials say the problem is not simply that more people are entering homelessness, it's that fewer people are getting out. Funding cuts forced LA to reduce enrollment in temporary rental subsidy programs that help people move from shelters into permanent apartments. Thankfully, my family member was one of those people some 3 years ago. And so I know about this, the programs that move you through, whatever programs into a shelter, into like group housing, and then permanent homes, or not semi-permanent. apartments. That number of people housed through those subsidies fell from more than 10,000 in 2024 to about 6,600 last year. That created a bottleneck. When people cannot leave temporary shelters, beds do not open for those still sleeping outside. Moves from interim housing into permanent homes dropped 36%, while the number of people returning from temporary housing to the streets increased by 24%. Meanwhile, LA remains catastrophically expensive. Officials estimate a household must earn approximately $110,000 annually to afford the county's average monthly rent. This is the average of $2,745. $2,745 for rent.
Yeah,
Nearly
Crimea River in New York City, the average rent is over $5,000 a month.
Oh, God, gag.
And in order to qualify for it, you must earn at least $200,000 a year and be able to prove it.
Well, nearly 6 in 10 newly homeless residents blamed economic hardship. Duh. And for every person LA permanently housed, more than 2 others entered or re-entered the homelessness system. That's the larger lesson here. Clearing encampments may change what a sidewalk looks like, but unless people can move into stable housing, the problem is merely a problem just being rearranged. Yeah, you get shuffled around, right? That's really all it is. And this is going to prove to be a thing that's going to dog Gavin Newsom in 2028. This crisis, obviously, with Mayor Karen Bass, like, who is still ahead in the polls, like, for her reelection, right? Forget. I don't want to relitigate the whole Spencer Pratt and Nithya Raman, or whatever her name is. Her last name is Raman. How all these like midnight mail-in ballots came in, and the homeless encampments getting, fake registered to vote. But this is not going to look good for the people who are the status quo. But because LA has that ranked choice voter thing, the status quo, you can vote for status quo A or status quo B, but they're all part of the status quo. And then for Gavin Newsom, this is definitely going to dog him in 2028, because I assure you, he will be the nominee.
Well, I've got some good news. I can't do anything about homelessness, but the TMI show, and I'll go away after this, we are number 9 on Rumble right now.
Woo! We moved up.
We're number 9.
Number 9.
We're number 9.
Yeah, and I think
number 9.
I think the real reason that we're trending is because of the whole Islam thing, the whole Islam angle. So while you in the chat are blasting me for being a right-wing fascist, Christo-nationalist, whatever it is y'all going to do, Rumble is showing us some serious love right here. So y'all can love me against my populism, but this is a hill I will die on when it comes to religion. I want to get Muslims
and that's
saved,
the thing.
get them converted to
We
Christianity.
know, look, the authenticity is there, Robbie. Everybody knows you mean what you're saying.
Oh, 100%.
That's why they watch, and whether they hate what you're saying or not, one thing they cannot and no one will ever take from you is that you are authentic, and that is who you be. And people know that. So
we are now number 5. We are number 5 right now on Rumble. Yeah.
All right, let's keep talking. Let's keep the needle moving, babes. Let's do
number
it.
Number 5. All right, thanks.
Number
Robbie.
5,
That's
boys
awesome
and girls.
News. Woo!
Right.
You got to take a screenshot of that. We got to frame it.
We're number 5. We're number 5.
Whoop, whoop.
All right.
Jaws.
Jaws it. Okay, I guess I'm going to assume that I heard that. Okay, so America's education gap is reshaping the marriage market, and women without college degrees are taking the biggest hit. A new working paper from the National Bureau of Economic Research finds that college-educated women are increasingly marrying men who don't have 4-year degrees. But they're not choosing randomly. They're pairing up with the highest earning dudes in that group. So we'll have to break that down. The share of marriages involving a college-educated wife and a husband without a degree quadrupled across the generation studied, rising from 2.3% among women born back in 1930 to 9.6% among those born in 1980.
Hey.
Those husbands earned an average of about 68 grand a year. Meanwhile, less educated dudes who didn't marry college graduates averaged about 46K, roughly 10,000 less than comparable men in earlier generations. So this is a little hard to follow, especially for those of us who are not college educated. In other words, college educated women are crossing educational lines, but primarily for guys with steady careers and solid incomes. They're
Billy
going
Joel,
for
hello.
they're going for
Uptown
business
girl.
they're going for business owners, electricians, HVAC technicians, and podcasters, and other skilled workers who might lack diplomas but not earning power. That has sharply reduced the pool of economically stable guys available to women without degrees. The study estimates that the share of marriageable, I hate that term, non-college men.
Marriable?
Well, no, I mean, marriageable is the correct term
I know,
grammatically.
but
I hate the idea that someone could be considered not marriageable because of their socioeconomic status.
Oh, I thought you meant the word itself.
No, but it fell from 73% to about 35% across the generations examined. Marriage rates among college-educated women remain above 70%. For chicks without degrees, they plunged from 79%, that's nearly 80, to about 52%. Researchers say one trend did not necessarily cause the other, but when working class men lose economic ground, working class women lose potential partners. Marriage may be personal, but macroeconomics is destiny. I gotta say though, Manila, what's interesting here is think about like 50 years ago or 100 years ago, it was not at all uncommon for a man to have a college, to have a nice job and maybe work in an office and have a college degree, to be married to a woman who didn't.
Who was like a waitress or something, let's say.
Sure. Yeah. And so it's interesting to me that like there are, for the guys who are still left, who are, successful financially, that they're less willing to pair up with working class women. That white collar guys
marry up too.
Yeah. By the way, marrying up is gay. Okay. So I just want to say, like when I got engaged, the receptionist at my office, she was like, wanted to know like what my fiance looked like. And I showed her a picture and she said, "Oh, she's Asian." She said, "That's the only way that you as a white guy can marry up." And I was like, "What the fuck are you even talking about?" And she's like, yeah. She was Latina. I'm sure she still is. And it might not be. These days, you never know. And so it was funny to me. But yeah, that idea is gross. Okay. Yeah, it's gross.
No,
I mean, people pairing off economically is disgusting.
Look, I'm talking about like the class system, right? Like,
yeah, the class system is disgusting.
Like, not by race though. You're not inherently higher class because of race. I'm saying like by socioeconomic class.
Right. I know.
So like I've dated car salesmen. I've dated cops. I've dated whatever. I've gone on dates with whoever. Like I've never been one to discriminate as long as you weren't stupid, right?
Well, so in other words, you weren't dating in the United States.
as long as they weren't dumb. I've known guys, I've dated guys that had college degrees that were fucking dumb as a bag of dicks. Like just dumb. Like really dumb.
Okay, so that's so interesting to me. As soon as I suss out that a chick was dumb, we're done. That date is finished. Usually you find out before the date. Usually.
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, for a girl, you're like, well, but he's cute and he's sweet and he makes me laugh.
Really?
But then, yeah, I dated this guy and I was thinking about this story this morning as I was stirring my coffee, and I was like, I'm not gonna name him, poor guy. But
name him.
He was half Japanese, right? So he's Hapa, right? Good looking guy, tall, good looking, and I remember he chased me from California to DC. I moved out here.
Stalker.
And he chased. So I was like, sure, come out. You've never been to DC. Fine. You want to make a vacation of it. And we go to the Natural History Museum. We do the museum circuit, right? I'm fairly new here. He's never been. So I'm like, okay, let's go. We go. And when we're walking back to my apartment, first inkling where I was like, oh, he saw the EPA building. We're waiting to cross Constitution Ave. He sees the EPA building and he's like, Environmental Protection Agency. I wonder what they do there.
Oh God.
And I was
he was joking, right?
No, I laughed and I was like,
he fluent in English?
He was born and raised in Hawaii. So pidgin English?
Wow.
No. No, but he's been on the mainland since college. So I was like, I laughed and I thought he was being, kind of smarmy and funny. So I was like, I laughed and I was like, you're kidding, right? He worked for Toyota, Ted. And I was like, shouldn't you know what the EPA is on the window stickers of every fucking car? Like EPA suggested or, mileage or whatever per gallon, right? And that was my first inkling. We're walking back to my apartment and I'm like, that's in my brain. So we get to my apartment. Then he's like,
are you thinking like he'd better be a good coxman at this point?
So I'm like, gosh, like, is he dumb? Like, no, he can't be dumb. He's Japanese. He can't be dumb.
That's true. I did know. I worked for a Japanese bank and I did have some dumb colleagues. Yeah.
So my Asian bias.
There was this guy. I'll call him Kozaki because his name was Kozaki, and he was dumb as a rock. Yeah.
So get this. So I was like, so what did you think? What did you think of the evolution installation at the Smithsonian? And he was like, yeah, that was pretty cool to see, like the figures and stuff of like the Homo sapiens and whatever. He's like, but I don't get it. I was like, what?
Oh no.
We're having a cigarette and a drink. When I'm like, what?
Oh no.
What don't you get?
I'm scared.
And he's like, yeah, I know. He goes, how do they even know how old these like creatures were? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, the bones, like the fossils. Like how do they know how old these dinosaur bones and stuff were? Whoa, thank you for the donation. BH Longbull.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the heads up on Rumble Premium. Thank you very much. So he's having the cigarette with me and I'm still looking at him perplexed because I'm thinking, where's the punchline? And he goes, how can they tell how old these things are? And I go, you're joking, right? And I said, there's this thing called carbon dating. Mm-hmm. And he was like, but how do they know? I mean, I think it would have been so scary for these like Neanderthals to be running away from saber-toothed tigers and dinosaurs. And I was like, well, did you walk through the same installation?
This could have been a devout. This is a Robbie question.
No. He wasn't creationist. He wasn't religious at all. And so he was like, yeah. Don't you think it would have been scary to run away from saber-toothed tigers and like dinosaurs?
Well, I think saber-toothed tigers did live at the same time as human beings. Saber-toothed tigers are not that old.
But he said running away from T-Rex. I could be wrong. I'm going to look that up.
I could be totally wrong.
Running away from fucking T-Rex. And I said, they didn't live at the same time. He goes, but how do they know? And I said, carbon dating.
Oh, I'm totally wrong. Yeah,
I didn't think they did. But so again, I go, carbon dating. Did you walk through the same installation that I walked through?
Actually, no, I'm not wrong. They lived until about 8,000 years ago. So yeah.
But the dude said he was
saber-toothed tigers have attacked human beings. They have.
But dude was talking about running away from T-Rex like this is in the Jurassic Park movie. And I was like,
right.
And I'm mortified, right? And I feel bad because the guy flew cross country to have a date with me. Like
I've got to ask, did he get lucky?
No, I was so turned off. It was like the biggest boner kill ever because I realized he's sweet and he's funny and he's thoughtful. And the few dates that we went on back in California.
Did you think like he's so cute? Maybe I could educate him.
No, it was such a turnoff that I just suddenly the smells that emanated from him, the way he spoke, I saw every little spittle of saliva. Everything suddenly was like, oh no, I can't stand you. And then we got in an argument about fucking carbon dating. And I went, I'm sorry, this is not going to work out. Like, you got to go. Like, you got to.
So then you're saying there'd never be a future with you and me then? Since I don't believe it.
If you guys both get divorced.
So
that wasn't, well, what the EPA is.
You know what? You look at what happened to Morning Joe after Nika and Joe got together. That show, never that great to begin with, only got worse.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
look at what happened when Chrissy Hind married Jim Kerr. Again, two great bands got destroyed, The Pretenders and The Simple Minds.
Oh. If it was one thing, it might be like, okay, well, everybody has a brain fart. But it was like a series of things all compounded into one day when I realized, oh, he has a college degree, but he has a blue-collar job. So it was kind of a toss-up. And I was like, oh, we have like the ethnic thing going for us. I don't have to explain anything about culture and Asian. Like, he gets it, right? Like, food's not going to be weird to him.
Japanese people are racist, and they have racial superiority, and they look down on you guys. They're like, oh, Laotians are just there to be eaten or whatever.
But he grew up in Hawaii, so he's from Hawaii. So he looked at me as like a local girl, like a brown Asian girl. So he's like, oh, you look like home. And no. So I would advise, though, don't take my story, every single woman out there, that look, he was college educated and made good money, but he was still dumb.
Yeah, dumb is a non-starter if you're, because I mean, it's depressing, right? Like, it's okay if someone isn't well versed in your particular area, right? It's totally
sure. I don't need them to be a political or whatever, right? Like,
although there has to be equal respect. I dated a lady who was a very accomplished scientist, and she was incredible, not very smart about politics, but she was always asking me about politics. So that helped her. But when I was asking her about science, she kind of like didn't want to talk about it because basically she thought I was a science tard. And compared to her, I was. And so, things weren't equal there. And I was kind of feeling like you're like a brain tumor. You're just sucking my brains out for your own greater glory, but I'm not getting anything out of this relationship. I'm not learning anything.
Okay, so I've got to know. And I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this that doesn't make me sound like your Japanese friend who's a complete and utter retard.
Neither of you believes in carbon dating, so you have that.
Well, I mean, that's where I'm going, right? So, I mean, where do you draw that line? Because I mean, there's plenty of people who would go out of their way because they have to call me stupid because I don't believe in carbon dating. I don't believe in the idea of an old Earth. I believe that the Earth is young. It was created. So, in the scale of retardation. Where do I land on that spectrum? Like,
no, it's not that
I'm so happy I don't have to answer this question, Manila. You do.
It's not that he had to believe in carbon dating. That's different. He didn't even understand where to begin with what carbon dating was. He didn't know what the EPA was.
The theory of it, or even like that it existed.
He didn't even understand,
and he didn't believe it. He didn't believe in the young Earth, right? So he just didn't understand it.
He had no wherewithal of, like, I guess he slept through this part of like science or history class or something in high school, or
right.
I don't know. But that's when I realized, I was like, oh my God, we walked through the same thing and we did not see the same installation. Like, I was like, did you read the plaques on the thing? Like, did you read
English?
That's what I'm saying. That's
why
why
I was asking. Yeah.
With college educated women, look, I've dated a Burger King worker. I've never discriminated because I've known very smart people to come from all walks of life, right? Like, surprisingly, like, hello, like Robbie, very smart dude, right?
True.
Some redneck from the Gulf side of Florida. Who'd have thunk? One of the most intelligent people I know.
True, ditto.
So I've never discriminated. But for what I find fascinating about this story is that the college, let's say she's a lawyer. Let's say,
Manila, you're ducking Robbie's question though.
Well,
yeah, you are.
What was the question? I answered it.
No, you didn't. Robbie's question was, because Robbie doesn't believe in carbon dating, would you look down on him as someone like him
I did
as a
answer
potential
that.
dating partner?
I answered
because
that.
he believes the Earth is 6,000 odd years old.
Believing in something is different than not even being aware of it. That's very different.
Isn't
very
that
different
just?
things.
I'm going to be mean here.
You can reject.
So do you think there's a?
He's rejecting carbon dating.
So in other words, you would say it's okay to understand something and then deny it and reject it than it is to just be too stupid to understand it. Okay, I get that.
Be completely unfucking aware. You're unaware of what the EPA is.
Well, he never even heard of carbon dating. He didn't even know. It was like you were like, so there's a thing.
You're like in your 30s and you'd never ever heard of carbon dating. Like, what's that? And I literally got so mean. Yeah, I literally
dating carbon-based creatures.
And I felt so bad after I said this. Like before I told him to get out, I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I was like, the Flintstones is not a documentary, right? I literally said that to him, and the moment it's tumbled out of my mouth, I felt so spicy. Bad. I felt so bad. I was like, "Oh no!" Like I mean, and I could see the look on his face. He was just crushed, and I was like, "But no, this cannot go any further. No, I cannot procreate with you. I do not want to have sex with you. No."
Oh boy.
No.
Oh boy.
Leave. Goodbye.
Meow meow.
So bad.
Guys, speaking this segues well with our breaking news about my favorite California governor and also least favorite California governor, Gavin Newsom. So an aide who had an affair with Gavin Newsom more than 20 years ago when he was the mayor of San Francisco has written a detailed account of the relationship for Vanity Fair. The first person essay by the aide, Ruby Rippey, who was his appointments secretary at the time, and he was like, "Can you pencil him in my pencil?" Was published just as he finishes his final year. Blah blah blah. Prepares to run for president. Blah 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 blah. So he had an affair with Rippey. She was the wife of Alex Turk, a close friend who was then serving as his re-election campaign manager after previously working as his deputy chief of staff.
But was he married to Kim Guilfoyle at that time?
I don't know. Probably not. Turk had just told Newsom he was resigning after learning about the affair from his wife. In her essay, she doesn't use Newsom's name, but she describes him as the mayor of San Francisco and a man often described as Kennedy-esque. Obviously, it's him. She blames herself for betraying her husband and says that her life spiraled out of control because she was drinking a lot and she was coked up. She also appears to blame Newsom for holding so much power over her. I'm getting bored with this narrative, ladies, and for proceeding with the affair anyway. She writes that
you can't Me Too everybody.
That their relationship began in the summer of 2005, went on for a few months, off and on. I always go to him, his penthouse in Russian Hill, a private back room at a North Beach bar, the W in Los Angeles, she writes in her essay. We meet and we drink. There is sex, but it isn't the point. The point is proximity to power, to being chosen. So there's more and more details. So
what is wrong with like a mechanic guy marrying the uptown girl like Billy Joel says?
Nothing at all.
I mean, women for centuries have done this, for millennia have done this.
Well, no, it's usually gone the other way around. Historically, it's always been, most, I hate this term, but most men have married down class-wise. It's not been the other way around. But nowadays,
that's what I'm saying. Women are
it has to be the other way around because men and boys have fallen off a cliff because these guys have killed
women
us.
have historically married up, right? Like a waitress marries a lawyer, right? A flight attendant.
Now you guys
stewardess.
But now there's the wrinkle is you're marrying down. But here's the question: what is class, right? So if a dude makes $500,000 a year. Like, I know a dude who makes $500,000 a year. He's technically a working class guy, but what's his job? He repairs yachts and super yachts for people in the Hamptons. Okay. So, and he's one of the few people in the world who can do this, right? So he's making bank. He's a very smart guy, but he doesn't have a Harvard degree. If you marry him, are you marrying down because he's working class, or are you marrying up because he's rich? I mean, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah,
or if you marry a poet who makes no money at all, but has a PhD and went to Iowa Writers Program, blah blah blah, has a bunch of books. Are you marrying up even though he's making $20,000?
I know guys like that too. Yeah, I'm a realist, and I know that you also can't marry just a forever dreamer, like let's say an out of work actor, right? And let's say you are a high-powered attorney or whatever. No, you can, but it ain't going to work because you're at some point going to feel sick as a woman. You're going to feel sick and tired of carrying the burden. And I think a lot of men feel this way too, but less so, more for the woman because of a millennia of training women to feel like they're the ones that should be taken care of. So even if you are the one, quote, wearing the pants and you're a girl, you're the one wearing the pants and your dude is like some dreamy poet. He's so cute and he's so like romantic, but he earns like, $10 a day, reading poetry outside of the 87th Street metro exit, subway exit, then like you're probably going to get sick of that. Like it just
Well, you might not. You might be like I knew a girl. She went to Harvard. She has a great job. She's a top executive at a major NGO. She's making money. She married a dreamy, pot-smoking, very good-looking, very sweet man. And, and they have lots of sex, and he takes great care of their kid. He's a stay-at-home dad. Yeah, he just smokes weed and plays video games.
Not the rule.
And that's it.
That's the exception. That's the exception.
He's a weed-smoking kept man.
I know people like that, too. And the very rare times you ever meet people like that, those are the exceptions, not the rule. Generally speaking, money is the number one reason people get divorced. So while I support women to not pigeonhole anyone based on what they speak like, what they do for a living, whatever. I've always been very open-minded about who I dated, went on, and when I say dated, I don't mean like necessarily as my boyfriend, but I mean going on dates. I've never been closed-minded about that. Any race, any color, there's some disabilities in there. That's never bothered me. But
you gotta go.
For us girls,
we have to troubleshoot Rumble Studios.
Oh, we have to troubleshoot. But this is what we're doing. And Ted, why they're marrying not cartoonists?
Hey,
you know why?
Because we're Poe.
Because fucking AI is stealing all the white collar jobs. So she is going to want to marry the HVAC repairman. She is going to want to, that guy will always have a job. Well, so the younger generation, they know that.
The cartoonist might be a coxman.
Did y'all see?
Doesn't matter. That don't pay the bills, Ted. The peen don't pay the bills.
Did y'all see Elon's interview that he did? I think it was last week, talking about he's predicting within 10 to 15 years there'll be no need to work at all.
Yeah,
because
that's
AI and robotics.
Well, no need to work. I mean, sure, but they're just not going to give you any money because we live under this horrible system. That's an important. Seriously, Robbie, put a pin in that. I want to talk about it like tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm with Matina. Matina says, I expect a man to lead in the relationship. My sister, though, is the boss in her family. She married for money and now he's laid off. That happens too.
That can happen. Marrying for money is a mistake because money may or may not last.
Yep. And you know what? Good looks fade. Stupid is forever.
Yeah, but coxmanship is forever too.
You can't pay the bills with the peen, Ted. I don't care how well you lay pipe. If you ain't out on the street or at a construction site doing it, I don't want to hear about it. The end.
All right. So hit the thing, and then we'll stay on. We'll stay on.
How I'm
you just end this. So the big red button that says end stream.
End stream, and then does that kick us all out?
No, we'll all be here.
But if I hit end stream, does that play the outro video, or do I have to play
no,
it just ends. So here's how this is going to work.
It's an abrupt end.
Yeah, because we don't have this stuff in this room.
No, I have it.
So what we're going to do, we're going to end the stream. I'm going to log into to the TMI channel. Manila, you log into.
You guys cannot watch.
Manila, you log into your personal account. Ted, be in your personal account. I will send you both an invite. I will make you both admins, and I will fix this clusterfuck.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to play the outro and then
hit the end stream.
Yes.
And it's hitting the end stream, Manila, is a 2-part process. You hit the button, and then it's going to be like, are you really sure? And you have to hit that.
Are you sure you want to end?
Yeah.
No, I want to keep talking forever on Rumble the whole fucking day.
Well,
Happy Tuesday, guys.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
You gotta hit that button. You gotta push it. It's not playing.
It's playing. Yeah, it's playing.
Oh, we don't even see it.
I see it.